welcome everybody to Freewheel Station. We kind of get like a previously on Freewheel Station, and we get like the ship lights going off, and like that split screen of everybody's reaction to the station's power going out, and then the backup power kicks on, and then we get the reaction, and we get like Kib going down a hallway by himself, and then we get like as the backup power comes on, and we see two figures, and then we see the backup power go off, and we see Temerity in the middle of this crowd with the power going off, and we see the sort of a little bit of the back and forth of the comms chatter of you know finding of you guys trying to figure out where to what needs to be done, and with Temerity eventually leading, having security lead people back to their rooms, after addressing trying to bring the mood down. uh, and we get like the Kib being attacked, and being by a couple of like bounty hunters, and we get Temerity, like we get the and Dr. Oglehop showing up and helping to turn the tide, with one bounty hunter dead, one captured, and sort of like we get like and then we kind of like come back to the sort of title shot, the opening. We get the Drage system with its three planets and their various moons, and the free wheel station hanging in the sky, this big wheel with its like sort of like star yard arm that's sort of hanging off, that's got like the metal struts that provide structure for construction crews that are building the external hulls for ships, and we get some ships that are kind of coming and going, and and then we get like swoop under the framework, and we see the wrench that's welded into a corner that obviously somebody had no other way to keep the panels together and just welded it on like that. And then we come out on the other side, and we get the big logo, the Freewheel Station logo, and we cut, and we cut away. We get a jump cut, and we open back up with Temerity on the sort of like more public deck where like all the businesses and stuff are. And Temerity, if you'd like to describe, your character and how you've got the whole thing set up around you, what it looks like, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Temerity is in her best Abadar Corp suit, golden and green with the big Abadar Corp logo on the tie. She
Hmm.
straightened her tie out, though right now she's backstage. She's got it kind of set up, kind of like a White House press room, right?
Huh?
So there's like a little backstage area, and then she can like come forward through that onto a raised kind of dais.
Huh?
Um, and as she's backstage, she's like looking at herself in the mirror. She like fills her hands with water and like splashes her face and slaps her face a few times, kind of like adjusts her chin, kind of fine tunes some of her features with like some popping noises. And then she just real quick dips down, does a rail of Luxtasy, and pops back up and goes, "You are the bitch. You are going to fuck this shit up."
And like, what physically does Temerity look like right now? Like, is she still like in the elf form
Yeah,
that she
so she
normally
still
takes?
looks like a blonde elf, kind of like 4 foot nothing or like 5 foot nothing, like probably 4 foot
Okay.
11, and like wafer thin.
Okay. Sure. Um, yeah, so you've got this whole thing, and like maybe there's maybe the security team that's sort of that's been assigned to the duty of, sort of like assigned to you here for your event and whatnot.
Mm,
Maybe there's like a kind of standing there waiting. Although I imagine Dovry is probably impatient.
of
Uh,
course.
it's like, can we get on with this shit yet?
Kind of like
It's,
looks back and goes, "You can't rush perfection."
she just sort of grumbles something incoherent under her breath. You assume it's rude.
Yeah, and Temerity kind of like takes her final look, puts on her sunglasses, and walks out onto the press deck, probably to photographers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you hire some
Oh, for
photographers special
sure.
for this?
For
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
I
Uh,
hired my own little press crew.
right.
Probably I'll deduct 1,000 credits for like a super shitty lame ass, like probably just like bottom of the barrel quickest solution I could find to inflate
Right,
the
right.
numbers.
Okay, excellent, excellent. It's like, but yeah, like you're out there, and most of the people gathered out there are people that, like live there. There's maybe a few transients that are, coming and going that are like, for some entertainment other than listening to Father Karef and his crazy prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
Has, maybe there's like, maybe we get sort of like a couple of guys that are waiting in the back. It's like maybe an Extangi and an orc talking to each other. The orc's like, uh, whatever this is, you never hear anybody say anything on this station publicly that isn't just batshit crazy. Like fucking
Man, I do not plan on breaking that legacy.
yeah. So yeah, you've got your sort of like sort of paid press out there. You've got like there's a number of business owners that are sort of like towards the front of the crowd because they have an interest in whatever you've got to say here too.
Yeah.
But like you've got a crowd in front of you, and so and do you have like a podium with a mic that you're
Oh,
stepping up
for
to?
sure. I have a
Oh,
podium with
okay, yeah.
several mics.
Oh, awesome. Just how
Yeah.
egregious is the microphone situation?
Oh, it's pretty bad. There's probably at least 10. Half of them are labeled with news label or like news outlets that are clearly like Pact exclusive or like Vescarium exclusive. Like no way they would be like covering this event.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Uh, Haster, Milliceps, I think you guys are sort of in the crowd too. You've been hearing rumors about a new HR person that they hired, but you haven't met her yet, and this is sort of the first chance you've gotten to see her. Because she was given this conference. But you're in the crowd as well. Um, but yeah, so you're there, you step up to the podium. What does this look like? How do
Yeah,
you
I
how do you
think
how do you
that
proceed?
she takes a moment to take a deep breath. And she says, "Hello, my name is Temerity, representative from Temeritus at Law, representing Philip Deptho of the Lichdom Incorporated." And she'll kind of take a small notepad out of her shirt pocket and she'll set it on the podium and she'll say, as of recent, several accusations have been put forwards towards Philip Deptho and her companion, Mr. Kibb. Disturbing accusations that are inexcusable if true, and certain accusations that are directly and patently false. It has come to our attention at Lichdom Incorporated that the CEO of our company, one of the largest employers in the regions, has been implicated in the tragic murder of Clutchell, heiress and darling of the Clutchell perfume empire. This is tragic and a senseless act that has rocked the family, and our condolences go out to those who are most affected. But this tragedy has been perverted and warped for political and economic gain. Evidence has been fabricated implicating the successful, independent businesswoman and her loyal sidekick. These valuable community members will not be harassed by larger economic powers. We are currently hiring a third party investigation service to look into this matter further. I will now be taking questions.
So Milliceps and AL, you're both in the crowd. If you have any questions regarding this or anything else to do with Temerity's position, you could ask those now, or you could wait to discuss that stuff in private.
Hmm.
I'm gonna wait until later.
I'm
Okay.
like, I am, like anxiously looking around. I have green LED lights with a red hood, and
Mhm.
you can hear him muttering to himself, if you're close enough, that like this is bad. This is bad.
And we are gonna have this cut up and edited as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like this is totally because we're gonna broadcast this on like as many things as possible. Um, we're basically going on like the Saul Goodman offensive here. Like we're taking a
Right,
position that is so ridiculous that you can't help but have to engage with it. The first
right,
step is getting them to engage with it. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like we getting them to be like, well, we kind of have video. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah. There's I think maybe you kind of feel like maybe that is one of the questions, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's strangely it's actually Zerk that asks the question, like Zerk
Mm-hmm.
Silver Soul, 'cause he's kind of
Mm-hmm.
standing there casually, and he goes, "So, what exactly would you say to those who? Well, what exactly would you say to the videos, the evidence of Miss Deptfo and her companions at the scene of the crime and executing, shooting Miss Clutchell in the face?"
Well, I would certainly say that somebody has a sick sense of humor and far too much time on their hands. That, or I would say that the financial motivations behind this are larger than we would expect.
I think he kind of like smiles and kind of like, I think he just sort of smiles. He just continues standing there casually. Like somebody else is like, so it's like, are the rumors true that that this was an assassination sanctioned by the government by the Eoxian ruling council? And
We
we
cannot
understand there are links to very prominent to very prominent economic powers within the Eoxian world.
Due to our lack of proximity to the nature of the case, we currently are having our own independent investigation. Upon further discovery via our investigation, we will be able to make more comments at that time.
And we ask who's leading the investigation. And like there's probably like some of these like seem like off the cuff questions for people
Mm-hmm.
who generally are an audience that shouldn't have like questions that are this kind of detailed. And you're kind
Yeah,
of getting the impression that maybe there have been some reporters here that have been looking for dirt, or maybe even just people informing for reporters. But
that's fine by me, honestly.
yeah,
No such thing as bad press as far as Temerity's concerned. She's probably going to field the question. It's an excellent question. Because of the nature of this investigation and our current implications via what we believe to be fabricated evidence, we would like to defer that question until a later date. We currently do not want to put our investigator at risk. We have
and
reason to believe that there is great risk to all people involved within this case.
do you think this has any ties to the murder of several prominent individuals that have been going? There's rumors there have been that this is tied to the murder of several prominent individuals in the Drage system, including or in the Dorelium frontier, including Countess Cerivia. She was rumored to have some contact with this Lichdom Corporation or some sort of deal. Can you expand upon that relationship?
We are unsure, or probably at the moment we wish to maintain a certain amount of privacy, as any business would wish to keep their own proprietary secrets separate. However, we would like to confirm the presence of danger. There was, in fact, an attempt on Mr. Kibb's life yesterday. We would like to mention that specifically because we believe that this is due to us speaking up about this case.
Like, like They're like you don't suppose that it was perhaps bounty hunters trying to bring him in to the League of Helades for the crimes he's committed?
I will be fielding no further questions.
Yeah, he's like fucking yeah.
Question:
And
was
then,
it one guy that was asking all of those questions?
no, it was
Okay,
probably a few different people that were asking. It was it was kind of peppered throughout the crowd.
Yeah.
Um,
gotcha.
I just didn't differentiate the voices
No
because the
problem.
individuals weren't particularly important
No, I get you.
in that moment. It was just the questions.
But
Gotcha.
But
yeah, I
yeah,
think that
I pick
she'll.
that man out of the crowd and have him questioned.
Yeah, right. But yeah,
um,
Temerity is going to head down, and she'll make a conscious decision to walk through the crowd and like shake people's hands, even if they're a little befuddled. She's going on a charm offensive. Like,
oh, I see. I see. All
yeah.
right.
Can I make a diplomacy check for that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hell
Sure.
yeah.
We'll see if what it,
Hey, a 25 ain't bad.
well, I'm gonna say for the effects here that the people of Freewheel Station who seem the people that seem like they live here and whatnot seem to be assuaged with this to some extent. I mean, like, yeah, I knew this was bullshit, or yeah, what business is theirs, or whatever. That what we do over here. Those
Yeah.
kinds of attitudes. Like, even if they don't necessarily believe everything you say, that you were good enough that most of the people of Freewheel Station feel pretty strongly about their sort of support for whatever it's worth is behind Lichdom Corporation at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, like she'll kind of do that, and she'll make her way out of the crowd, flanked by security.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
She's a little keyed up after Kib got bounty hunters after him. She's like, all
yeah.
right,
Well,
I want to be accompanied by security. Like,
right. So, you like Mila,
How much ready
Mila.
cash do you have? You could buy security of your own.
hmm,
uh, but AL Millicept, this would be a good chance for you guys uh to catch up with this temerity person you've been hearing rumors about. Now that the
Okay.
conference itself is sort of like she's stepped down from the podium.
Well, as she's making her way down, as soon as she passes Meliseps, he's just going to turn around and trail a decent distance behind her and walk out of the room.
I'm just
With her.
meekly like following, just kind of looking around.
We get we get descriptions of your characters here real quick
oh
for
yeah,
the audience at home and for temerity.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Milliceps decided today to wear his full black suit with a nice yellow tie and a little bowler hat. And, he's obviously wearing something nice, but it's also something very minimal because, well, he's a colony.
Mm-mm.
He's an into colony.
Mm-mm.
So
Nice.
a living fungus colony.
Oh yeah, I
Nice.
played an Intu. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Intus are
So
great.
uh AL.
Yes. My character is AL from just a different version of AL. So from the Menagerie. So right now the character has blue hair, looks like with a red, probably a red jacket at this
Mm.
point, and has green digital pupils. And like the androgynous look, but like basically the character like is very closed in. You can see like the hands are close to the chest and like looking around nervously and like yeah.
Hell yeah.
A little bit of a worry word right now.
Does security seem concerned with these guys?
No, I think actually I think Dovry I think the most reaction you get out of it is because strangely I don't think Dovry has an issue with into colonies or with androids in particular.
Hmm.
Actually, I think she probably actually does it. I think she probably likes the company of androids. But there's no racial enmity or particular reason for her or personal reason for distrust. So
Hmm.
I think she's probably like she probably would react in so much as like she might say hi to one of y'all. She's like, oh, she goes like
Yeah,
Easy, Al. Easy,
Temerity
Al.
probably
It's
screams
all
back
right.
at that.
I'm sorry, Master. I'm sorry. I just
Don't call me master.
right.
Yeah,
Boss. Right,
thank you.
boss. I just ever since the blackout, it's just been like you
Yeah,
know
blackouts happen. People get attacked by mercenary groups. It's just same shit, different day.
what
It's
is the
all good.
spaceship coming to? He leans in to they lean into whoever said hi. Like, what is the spaceship coming to?
I think Dovery looks at you and goes, calm down. It's a space station for one, and for two, that's been handled. Like, did it like two bounty hunters, one dead, one well being deported, I guess, and then you know the well, I suppose there were the three murders that happened last week, but we don't exactly have a law against that, unless of course it's somebody that the station security cares about. I don't know. There's were a few there were a few random thefts, but nothing from your casino is I trust.
Huh. You know, I had never considered the idea that murder had to be specified as a crime. Fascinating. They never taught us about that kind of law at Abadar Corp.
But this isn't a place where there's exactly laws. Most people just understand you don't cross the Lichdom Corporation's bosses, and you don't cross the syndicate.
See, but that is a law. It's law of the jungle. Because without laws, we just evolve into nothingness, into gibbering morons. How do you think we got into space? It was law.
Glad to see a
What?
lawyer that still has some passion in this world. Well, universe.
Well, whatever went wrong, I'm used to taking responsibility for it, so I'll take the responsibility.
You're
Everything.
fine. You're fine, Al. You're fine. I swear to you.
And Temerity
Okay.
is going to hold out her hand to shake one of your guys' hands.
Millicent's will kind of like
I
sprout
moved
a
to
mushroom
block.
and
I moved to block, and my eyes turn red, and he's like,
Al,
"Are
she's
you?"
fine. I was gonna
Excuse
shake
me.
her hand.
And then she relents once she hears Millsaps.
And
I wanted to shake her hand. And
yeah.
Millsap sprouts a little mushroom out of his colony and shakes her.
Oh yeah, and shaboom! You are palmed a business card for Temeritus at Law.
You just see him kind of work it into his coat.
So, now my character looks like this. I'm dropping it into the art area for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Oh, nice. Interesting. And yeah, I think that Temerity's gonna go, oh, yeah, I can do that too, and is gonna pop and mold her face into like a spitting image, just like you hear all these cracking and popping, sickening noises.
Do what?
Kind of looks over at Milliceps and kind of goes this one okay in the head?
Yeah, probably fine.
Oh, okay. Guy goes, well, nice to meet you. You guys are, let me guess, the casino bosses?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I've been meaning to lose all of my money at your place.
Excellent. I can't wait to have you over.
Hmm. Kind of goes, and if you ever have any trouble with the law,
That's
any
why I
kind of
wanted to.
law.
Yeah, I do appreciate all of your efforts here with Lichdom Corporation. I mean, they're huge allies to me. They've let me run my establishment unharassed, unmolested, and it's just been another pleasure working with them. And I do respect you as a lawyer for them. So, of course, if I had any legal issues that were to tie me up, I would first contact you.
Kind of would nod and go, excellent, excellent. I have a very high success rate, 99.9 before I came out here, actually.
Uh, wow. All right. Well, I don't mean to keep you. I'm sure you're a very busy individual.
And she'll kind
So,
of go, she kind of goes, likewise, I'm sure that you have quite a bit of business at the casino.
after the blackout, most definitely.
Yeah. And she'll shake your hand once more and try and shake AL's hand.
She just kind of like looks to Milliceps.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
She reluctantly like pulls out her hand and shakes it. You can. It feels like you know like a stilted. It feels stilted. That's what it
Yeah.
feels like.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And she'll just kind of roll with it and go, well, you know where to find me. I mean, if you don't, it's this office specifically, and like we'll like mention an office and be like, I can be found there at almost all hours, and if not, my number's on the card.
She whispers, like while shaking hands, like, "I've got my eye on you. One
Kind of.
step out of line, to my boss. I don't need a signal. I will cut you down."
She just kind of like looks at you and just goes, noted. Right. You guys have a good one.
You too.
And she'll kind of scurry off with like security in tow.
Well, she seems nice. Like,
Yeah, she's good people. I mean, she's got hot. Anyway, you could catch up with me whenever you like, Al. I'm going to be headed back to the casino. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think with that, we might as well let's jump over to Kib. What is Kib doing right now? Where's Kib and what is he doing?
Well, probably an engineering area and working on compiling the data he was supposed to compile.
All right. Well, the data seems to be a bit inconclusive in terms of it's not giving you a clear picture. Like it, from what you can tell, the readings show that the power surge was of a power signature that you're unfamiliar with. Like it's a signature that in your engineering background, you're pretty familiar with different kinds of power signatures and where they're used and whatnot. It wasn't even a huge surprise to you when the Velquin Empire sent you the specs for the constellation drives for larger ships and whatnot. Some of the specs for some of that kind of technology and whatnot. And, you know, but this is something you haven't encountered before in terms of the power signature. It's really hard to put your finger on it. There seems to be an element of divine and arcane energy to it, but it's also seems to be coming from a technological source of some sort. But that kind of hybridized technology is very specialized, and it doesn't make a lot of sense that you're not finding a lot of you're not finding um, any analog for it, any specific, match. But, yeah, it brings you back to the mindset of that switch you found that you couldn't tell what it went to.
Right.
It's all kind of the same thing. There's a lot of shit here that as you've gotten deeper into the, engineering of this thing, you're discovering things that nobody's really known. Stuff that there's no explanation for exactly.
Cool.
Like there are large parts of this station that you don't know what's actually there. Like there's no hallways leading to, there's no tunnels leading to, and since there's no schematics from when this thing was built, you don't know what exactly is there, what kind of systems might be run through there, or if there's, you know, some kind of explanation for anything that's going, any of this stuff. But it seems like the closer you get into stuff, like, the deeper you get, the more you run into stuff you're not able to explain fully.
Well, I'm gonna make a just general understanding of what I do understand, and then um, a little notations of okay, this section is kind of new. Explore that later. This one I know that should be connected to that. Okay, good. And spend like most of the day just trying to understand why, how they got into the system to shut it down and how to counteract that.
But you already know
If you're
how they got in to shut it down, right? Like you're wondering how the power came back on before Philip was able to restart the core, and why it was a different power source until the core was restarted.
Yeah, okay, I remember that now. So he would just map out what he understands and trying to figure that out, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Like maybe you have a diagram of what you know about the station and where things are at, but there's just like this big area that you've got labeled as a big question mark, or maybe like scribbled out, blacked out with scribbles because you don't know what's there, whatever. And it's like, but yeah, there's a fairly large part of the core of this station that you've never been, and nobody you've ever encountered has been.
Like, Kiv's gonna spend most of his day just trying to be by himself and understanding all this stuff because somebody tried to kill him yesterday. So,
Yeah. Well, or capture. Well, it was capture. They used a riot grenade and a knife fiber net to try to get you. Um, yeah. Um, so maybe we get Kib kind of like going through the data and drawing things out and between data pads. And do you have like a holographic display that you're like doing some of your work on?
it's a mix between that and on actual. He goes back and forth between the holographic thing and diagrams on a flat piece of paper and goes back and forth and has multiple
Oh,
media
right on,
present the data.
right on, right on. Cool. Yeah, so we get Kib kind of doing that, and we've got like your staff in the background. Like, do you have any of them helping you with this at all, or is this just like your project while they're doing basic, maintenance routines and stuff?
There'll be occasional moments where he's working away and he'd be like, "Hey, take a look at this real quick. What do you think about that?" And then they'll
Okay.
give their opinion and then go back to their work and then back and forth throughout the day, just randomly getting other people's input to see if maybe needs a second pair of eyes to see something he missed.
All right. Cool. Philip, where is Philip at? Sorry. Where is Philip at and what's she doing?
It's still tomorrow, right? So this is technically day 3 of temerity, right? This is how we tell time now. How many days
Okay.
has temerity been here?
Yeah.
All right.
Before temerity and after temerity,
Yeah.
AT, BT.
And like, forget the gap. When temerity arrived on free will, that's when time started. Anyway, so it's day 3. So I would actually probably be in engineering still.
So you're
I
down
mean,
there.
and yeah, unless there's something more important that I haven't been told about yet, I would probably be working on not only getting everything back to full. I'm sure Kib at some point is in there helping too. And actually,
Well,
we'll wait for that.
Kib seems to be working on some other project. Kib's
Oh
he'll
yeah,
he occasionally calls somebody over to like get their opinion on something, but he's got like a holographic display up, and he keeps going between that and an actual paper chart that he's writing on and whatnot. He seems to be working on something else. I don't know if it's something you guys discussed that he was working on, or if
all right.
you
Well, I mean,
just
I could
making an
ask,
assumption, but
but
you know.
no. And also, I've taken the time to run a full diagnostic on Ha, because Ha should not have been bashing things with hammers unless they needed bashed with hammers. Um, it seems that we were just both having a rough day. But that happens when you give yourself a concussion falling 10 feet down a mine shaft, an elevator shaft. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
more like
ones
30.
and twos.
It's more like 30 feet.
Well, then I don't feel nearly as bad for the damage that I did take.
But you had what, 3, 4 rounds that I gave you a chance to stop yourself before you did?
I made 3 checks. That's the best I can tell you. So a round and a half, technically, if we're going by 6-second rounds.
Oh. But I know it made you make at
But
least 3 checks, so
yes.
you took damage from at least 20 feet worth of fall, if not 30.
Well, if that's the case, then once again, I feel pretty good about it.
Kind of tumbled down the elevator shaft.
Right? Yeah. It was funny.
You jumped down the elevator shaft and
Well, I
didn't
attempted to
succeed.
slide down the elevator shafts. Why would I assume it's a pulley? So I attempted to grab a hold of the inner ladder that was in there and missed, and then missed, and then missed.
Okay, I gotcha.
Because yes, for whatever reason, my space station has regular Earth elevators instead of space elevators.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but either way, I fell.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm sure I still have a headache. I should see the doctor about that. But if Kib is working and I'm working, Ha is working. Also, at some point, I will definitely want to tell Colovian that we're going to start trying to get more people again, and we need to get better at paying attention. Crinville's association. My brain is at a loss, and I don't want to look at notes. Crinville and Isaac are part of.
The Grimbuckle Syndicate.
That's the word I couldn't think of. Shame on me. So yeah, the Grimbuckle Syndicate can only do so much for us. We're coming up. We have room. Let's get people in those spaces.
All right.
Uh, but yeah, other than that, like this is we had something happen. We have the ability to learn from this experience and not let it happen again.
Unlike
Also,
the yeah.
I put in an order for what our max is, what 50 people for us right now, plus the 10, so for 100 flashlights, and everybody gets a flashlight, whether they need it or not. And if they are on shift, it is required. No more people running around in the dark not being able to do stuff.
Yeah.
Also, we should see if anyone knows, find out who can cast dancing lights and that sort of thing and those sorts of scenarios. So, like a mystic we can pay for, the casting of the spell later. Father Kareth, he could have cast light. All right, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. If anything comes up, they know where to find me.
So I think like maybe you're so you see Kib over off to the side working on his project. You've got you kind of like double checking all the systems and what have you. And some of the people you're kind of noticing a little bit of a shift too. Like there are sort of more people here than there would normally be, but those extra people that are here don't really seem to pay any attention to you. They seem to pay attention to Kip.
Well, yeah, as far as it goes, Kib is head mechanic on the space station. So,
Yeah.
uh, now on the other hand, they should all know who the fuck I am, so they should listen if I tell them something. In fact, if it happens, that's exactly how I'll put it. If you don't know who the fuck I am, ask someone who does.
Hmm.
I'll still defer to anytime you run into that. They defer to Kib for permission to do whatever it is you're telling them to do.
Hmm.
After the first time, I will go to Kib and be like, Kib, if they come over and ask you for permission after I tell them to do something, yell at them. Ta-da!
Yeah. Okay.
You
Will
can do
do.
it. I have faith in
Yeah.
you.
Gotcha. But that
Now
just
back to what you're
makes
doing. It's fine.
sense.
Oh, are you having issues? Is there some math equations you need help with? Is there something I can do? Can I give you a pep talk?
Well, it's just unknown source of power here that just doesn't make sense that I can't completely. I mean, this part I understand, but then this thing that's deeper within just doesn't make sense. I don't understand where it's coming from. That surge power is weird, and I want to understand it, but I don't. And
Oh yeah. What have we got as far as that goes so far? Show me what you found.
well, most of the power works normally, right, from our systems and fine, but it looks like deeper further in, there's this kind of divine arcane technological mix that makes
Some sort of magical hybrid item, I get you.
yeah, and it, I'm not 100% sure on it, and it's just taking me a little bit more time to understand it better. Well, I've never seen anything like this. It's really cool, but very confusing. It looks awesome though.
I see. So, are you saying at some point we should explore the. We're going to have to make sure our suits are up to date. The parts of the station that are broken? The lowest of lower decks?
I don't know if it's broken. It's just this station is a lot older than I recognize, and there's no definitive drawings or blueprints for the original creation of this station.
No, this is a patchwork, much like our ship.
Oh yes,
Are you trying to say you believe that parts of the station are pre-gap?
uh, possible.
Well, I hear that pre-gap technology is quite a lot of money. So if we don't need it, maybe we can figure out what it is and sell it to someone that wants it. Or we'll use it to our benefit and gain from it as we should. Also, I think we should send a wave to the guy that owes us your cousins. It's been almost 4 months. We should have heard at least something.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we are paying him every month, so.
Still? Okay. Yeah. I'll send a message over to him to see if there's an update.
But
That way
yes,
it
I
takes a
definitely
while to
think
get back.
we should maybe find temerity later and go figure that out. See what we can find at the bottom of the station. But what else is going on?
Wait, did she
Besides the
do
fact that
that?
your people keep trying to go around me to do stuff and make it harder for themselves.
Well,
I mean,
they have
yes,
their orders and what things to do to make sure that the station works fine. And I tell them to do their best because they're not as skilled as you or I. Yeah,
right.
technically, if you say something because you're a little more knowledgeable in technological things, then they should
I
do it.
say, honestly, it's almost to the point where I'm considering having them print me a uniform that says, listen to me or else. Anyway, none of that's important. It's about lunchtime. We should probably eat something. We've been here since 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I could save my progress at this moment and go get something to eat, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Sure.
you can bring it with you and work on it until the food gets there if that's what you want to do. But I'm going to see if Temerity would like to meet us at.
Well, I'm thinking this would be a great excuse to give my mind a break, set it aside, go do something for a while, and then maybe come back with fresher
With a
eyes.
fresh,
Then I'll say,
yeah, a fresh perspective.
yeah,
Yeah. Let's eat at the casino today.
Yeah.
we haven't eaten there in a while. Let's do that.
Right? Okay. Uh, Temerity, you hear ring ring on your one of your comms, one of the several that you have in your pockets.
You got temerity.
Hey, I almost said the wrong name. It's Philip, hon. We're gonna go have lunch at the casino. We'd love if you could join us.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. I'll talk to you there. Click. And we make our way that way.
All right. Uh, sure. Um, Millicept and AL. I think as you guys are sort of like on your way back to the casino, like well, actually, it shouldn't take you very long to get to the casino because you're right there. You are already right there in the commercial area, so you probably get back there fairly quickly. Um, you know, uh, everything seems to be running, par for the course right now. Um, but the way you're looking at it, there's you're starting to get to the point where like there are where you're going to be looking at you need uh, you need better supply. You need some, to have suppliers. Like you've got stuff that you arranged with the gym fish and whatnot, but it might be nice to diversify what you can get. Um, but right now you're getting supplies that are coming from uh, various systems where the gym fish are active. Um, but there's
Okay.
also like some stuff you're not able to get at the moment. Like it's really the only way you're able to get anything out of the Pact Worlds or Marix or Republic is by either the gem fish or by the paper leaf at this moment. But like the Vescarium, you can get from either of those, but other companies and But things like the Valquin Empire, they don't have. I guess the Paperleaf have dealings there, but the League of Hell East won't do any business with you guys right now because of Lichdom. Um,
Is there any particular scam that's being run regularly that I'm trying to put down in the casino?
any scams?
Yeah, because I'm kind of in charge of this, keeping an eye on security. Like I'm in charge of the person who's in charge of security, basically.
So what do you do with people when you catch them cheating and whatnot? Like,
It depends on the person, right? So, Alistair, he's a hacker, so basically, he would basically shut down all the terminals and turn like a red eye on it, like that they're watching you, and basically walk them out of the building without having to leave his room, basically.
okay,
Um, and then Allie would instead basically pick them up, drag them outside, and beat them, and make sure that they don't come back. And then the
all
last
right.
one, Alistair would probably instead, um, probably basically he would have someone else take care of it, and basically like yeah, he's just not good with it. He has like a mental breakdown in his office, basically.
Oh, okay, all right. Um, no, I don't think there's a whole lot going on today. A relatively slow day. People are still a little spooked from the blackout, so they're the really sort of like the people who have an actual gambling addiction are out right now. Um, that and the occasional diplomat who has too much money and not enough to do with their time. Um, like Quindon Maloon from the Velquin Empire, one of his aides is in here like gambling um, at one of the tables. But the as far as it goes, yeah, you guys are having a bit of a slow day, and right now it's kind of like um, I don't know. Millisips, do you have, being that it's a slower day, do you guys have anybody doing anything special, doing any inventory counts or, um, any deep cleaning kind of things or,
Well,
you
of
know,
course,
training or something?
anytime that the chefs aren't busy, cooking, they're going to be busy cleaning or else. Um, uh, Milliceps himself on a slow day would just continue to run IT work as a technomancer and all of that kind of stuff.
All right.
Um, Computer skill and whatnot. If you want me to roll that, I can. But
I
he
think the
just runs.
basic tasks are probably well within your abilities, so
Yeah,
I don't need a roll for that.
yeah. So I'm just going to be doing IT work. There's going to be a guy back there managing what we have in stock, what we need to order, what we can't get, what we can get, and cross-referencing that with previous ledgers to see where our shortcomings are coming from. Um, Basically, what is going out and what is coming in. That's new.
All right. Yeah, I think
So, yeah.
all right. So I think maybe like by the time that the rest of you get there, um maybe like AL, maybe you're dealing with like um somebody who has gone on a cold enough streak that they owe money and it's time to, you know, convince them to pay up.
Well,
Um
I just sent a picture in the the AI art to show what it would look like with Alistair. So that's what's happening right now.
okay, let's uh oh so like this guy is like, he sees the red eyes and he goes to take a run out the door.
Like any like security details that we have like that are automated would also be like trained on them and stuff like that. So,
Right.
but yeah.
Right. Do you have your security tackle him before he's able to make off, or do you personally get involved?
Um, well, so in that case, essentially, what would happen is with Alistair, he would just broadcast that person's image across the entire space station,
Okay. All right.
and put like a whole like declaring this person as basically you know a scammer or something like that. So
Or do you let here's a well, that would be a good way of letting all the syndicate like personnel know that somebody's trying to fucking make off with the syndicate's money, or that somebody owes the syndicate money.
mhm.
So is that kind of what you're doing? You're like, yep, yeah, they owe the casino. This person owes the casino so much money. All the syndicate people would know what that means, and they'll go after him.
Pretty much. It's not said out loud, but you know.
So maybe there's like maybe like they'll like we see like cutscenes or like different groups of syndicate guys going, talking to each other about cashing in on this or whatever. Um, you know, different crews and whatnot. Um, okay. Um, yeah, you guys uh Philip, Kib, Temerity, you guys kind of get there right about the time you see this guy breaking into the crowd, and the casino flashes up an alert that he owes the casino money, which those of you who know Philip, i.e., specifically Kib to some degree, if he thinks of it or not, knows that that means that every syndicate motherfucker on here is probably going to be looking to break this guy's bones and bring him back. And like get that money out of him.
Well, after they break his bones, we'll have the doctor set them, and then we'll put him in the brig, and we'll figure that out. Because one, necro point isn't enough if he owes us money.
Yeah, you think that your death will pay? No, it'll pay half.
Right? It isn't gonna pay. It's not gonna pay shit. Your life isn't even worth the debt you owe us. I
Yeah, we
love
gotta
that.
get somebody who turns people into Barai on here.
Bro.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
Here's the thing. That's a thing that in the game mechanics is described as something that people can really only do by accident. That it's
Mm,
usually like a resurrection spell gone wrong, or a raise dead spell gone wrong,
mm, mm,
or that there's extenuating. That's why they're still waiting on Kib's cousin, is
mm.
because she was killed and they had her too long for her to be brought back with raised dead, so they had to try to have
we
somebody raise her as a Barai.
we got
Which,
lost in the drift for an incredibly long time, and it ruined all our plans.
Mm, mm.
yeah,
As it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Hmm.
So that's why it's taking so long, is because they're
Well,
literally asking for something that the rules are like, yeah, this only happens by accident.
Hmm.
not only that, but I'm also banned from the course, so I can't go to EOX, where it would be way more likely I could find someone to do it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I almost just sent Kib with the body, and then I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's try this.
Yeah.
It would have only been marginally more welcome than you, but given the assassination charges.
Hmm.
He has the spell for disguise. I was sending him to other family.
But
There were bonuses. Sorry. Let's keep going. We're having fun.
yeah, you
Hmm.
guys are, but yeah, you guys make it to Besmera's, was it Besmera's Smile or Besmera's
Besmir's den.
Besmera's Den.
That's what I
Okay, I
thought
knew
it
it was
was. Yeah.
Besmera's something. You arrive at Besmera's Den. Um, Milliceps and AL, you guys would know by security that they're that Felub and Kib and Temerity have arrived at the casino.
Yeah, at that moment, Milliceps would straighten out his jacket, tie, and walk out of his office to approach them.
Probably would exit late. You guys probably would have already started talking by the time he actually comes out. Alistair.
All right.
Huh.
Yeah, there's you walk in and you guys pretty much see that like maybe there's one guy that's doing like a glassware inventory behind the bar. You know, and you can hear like the sounds of like, movement and shuffling from the kitchen area. What do you guys have on the buffet today? Do you have like a specific assortment of food, or is it just kind of like locally sourced stuff? Is it stuff that you got like really cheap brought in, or
It's stuff that we got really cheap brought in, but we marinated it overnight in basically a vat of sauce. And it's
you're like
just served over rice.
nice,
That's an
nice.
exotic dish.
Oh yeah, and Temerity is like loading up on buffet food. Like for being so small, you are amazed at how much she is putting on her plate. And like you guaranteed that plate and like 5 others of equal size will be gone by the time that she's done. She will be a bloated, miserable mess.
Yeah. Um, so you get there and yeah, Temerity heads for the buffet table.
And drinks too. Lots of drinks.
Drinks. Yep.
Probably
Uh,
like 6 probably like six Bloody Marys by an hour, just like one every 10 minutes.
Alistair approaches Temerity and he's like, I'd like to apologize for my previous behavior.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. No worries, I understand.
The others, they're not too aware of the situation.
Situation.
So, there's multiple personalities sitting in my brain.
Oh, okay. Well, I can work with that.
Yeah, most of us just roll with it. We find if one comes out and have entertainment with that one. That's usually what I do. Anyways, this food's real good.
Yeah, I was meaning to talk to you, Madam Defoe.
Yes.
How's the organ trade going? Because honestly, I'm losing products here that I can't really afford to lose. Some of these embargoes are just getting crazy.
What exactly are you having problem getting?
What was the name of that one company that won't do business with us at all?
well, it's actually the League of Helades. They're like a power in the Derulium frontier. They're like their own nation. They're the ones who have accused Philip Defoe and Kib of assassinating one of their perfume magnates.
Uh,
Uh,
it's the kingdom that they say you assassinated their perfume, whatever. Um,
the
I
Pact
didn't
World
do
won't
it.
do business with you
Mm,
either, so.
allegedly, of course.
yep, good job.
Those sound like illegal embargoes, if I had to guess. Like she says as she sits down with just a massive plate of food, and she's like, I'm sure that those won't hold up in a court if we actually challenge those. They're probably not expecting us to challenge them.
Really, you think
Then we
that's the
should
money?
definitely do that.
And yeah, she'll probably just like start digging in and like she is not fun to watch eat.
But yeah, it also makes working with the tea leaf company all that much more hard because they have ties in with that entire group.
The tea leaf has ties with everyone.
I
That's
know.
why we like them here.
We need to
Yeah,
talk to Zerk.
I
Mm.
am very thankful that they are able to bring me the stuff that they are, but I'm losing out on product here, boss.
It sounds like we need to talk to uh, the lead of the Grimbuckle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hang on. Da-da-da-da-da. Nope. Nope. What am I trying to do? Nope. I'm not going to try anything. I lied.
Uh,
I bet I can get an appointment with her later this afternoon if that's what we want to do. Or them. I don't know what they are.
my
With
work.
who?
The head of the Grimbuckle Syndicate?
Oh yeah, I see.
Are you speaking like openly about this in front of Temerity?
Oh, yeah. Not only that, look at that. That was horrible.
Yeah. Temerity is gonna go.
Make a
Oh, you
sense
know
motive here.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, even if she rolls a 1, I think she wins.
Hide.
Meets it, beats it.
uh,
I thought
there-
Hits
meets
it,
it
gets it.
ties.
I think what I'm going to say in this situation is that something doesn't add up about the way they're talking. There's something you feel like there's something you're missing here.
So I
Mm.
don't know they're talking about the Grimbuckle Syndicate.
Well, you get the fact that they're talking about the syndicate because they say you talk about the leader of the syndicate, but there's something weird about the way they're talking about the leader of the Grimbuckle Syndicate. There seems to be like something you're missing to do
Yeah,
with that.
It's like there's no
her
hard evidence to like really press it, basically.
Uh,
her
when I notice that you're like, paying attention, I'm like, don't worry, you'll be there. In
kind
fact,
of
you may
goes.
have to go in my stead depending on what happens this afternoon.
Kind of goes. Oh, well, I'll be certain to wear my best suit. And she kind of goes from her gaudy kind of Abadar corpse suit into like a much more reserved kind of like regal looking green suit.
Mm.
Feel like
I have an
Um,
extra bow
I
tie
feel
for
like
that.
this I feel like this pushes another bluff check and sense motive check here.
Okay, but as she changes, Milliceps, you notice in AL's eyes flicker different colors and then stop. It's an unusual thing, but it is something that you notice because you've been with AL for a while.
Right? There is something definitely wrong with the way they're talking about the leader of the group. There's something that like Philip's not telling you. But you
I'm
get
just
the idea that that she's probably not going to tell you because this is the second time that the answer hasn't sounded as quite like where the
As
conversation hasn't
forthcoming.
hasn't
yeah.
sounded as forthcoming as it should have.
Yeah, I guess Temerity will just let it lie.
Excellent. Oh, but okay.
How's your week been, Madame Defoe? Well, aside from the legal nonsense, not non-nonsense, but you know what I mean.
So since we last spoke, we've gained some new employees on both sides. Um,
Hmm.
we're still waiting on word for a couple of our things that are in progress. We've completed a couple of more ships. And other than that, up until the blackout, things had actually been running smoothly. In fact, so smoothly, I should have suspected that chaos was about to happen.
Yeah.
But, oh yes, that reminds me. Uh, we're looking for a bodyguard for Kib. It needs to be someone about his size so we can follow him through the tunnels. Someone probably that has soldiering ways, I would suspect would be good. So if you hear of anyone like that looking for work, put me in the loop.
Hey, can I run a wire to my boss in the Grim Bundle Syndicate and forward Madame Defoe's question up to him?
I'm gonna say technically Kurad knows that I'm looking as well, and that's who you'd be
Oh,
forwarding to.
okay.
Well, there's also I think he's talking about Crenville, but
Yeah.
Crenville
Did I
works
say
for
Kurad?
Philip.
Yes, and Bill.
Yeah, but
Uh,
and technically Crenville is Philip's right hand man. All
yeah.
which
That
you
old
would know.
codgel? Really? That's what Alistair's saying.
Mm. But no, you just have a different set of ears while you're in the casino than he does.
Very true.
So
Very true.
you might hear something he's not paying attention for.
All right. About how tall is Kip?
I put my hand on top of his head and say, "About this tall."
Oh, I was asking out of character.
I know, but in character, I had to answer it.
Gotcha.
But Kib, how tall are you? Like 3'6",
Uh,
isn't it? Something like that.
I was gonna say like 3'5".
Okay. He just needs to be small size so
So
they
is
can fit through
Millicent's
isekai tunnels.
taller or shorter?
Oh, Middleseps is so much shorter.
Really?
Yeah. Into
What?
colonies are small sized creatures.
Well, you already have a job though.
But
I'm small for my character's build quality, but I
Well,
tower over Millicent's, which is hilarious.
uh,
all right, I'll put out a word to the bounty hunters that do come by here. Well, not bounty hunters, mercenaries. My bad.
yes, we're not dealing well with or bounty hunters right now. In fact, oh man, temerity. That is something we do need to think about.
Huh?
So the
Have you
bounty
spread?
hunters aren't respecting us as a sovereign place, which is why we had yesterday's events where you had to do more than just clean up. Um, we need to send out a very polite message to such people that if they don't check in, they'll check into our brig instead.
All right, I can whip that up. I'm gonna need some pay for some of this at some point.
Yes. So out of
It
character, God
it,
decides when we get paid.
it occur, by the way, it occurs to you that you're probably going to need to talk to one of them about getting your press conference actually edited down and sent out for
Yeah,
other places to see it.
yeah.
Like if
Though
it's
I
a public
suspect at
statement.
least 6 versions have already left by this point.
And I ask, by the way, I'm like, did anyone here other than you two catch the press conference?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was on stage behind you.
Oh, were
That was
you?
today.
That was earlier.
Dang it!
Probably be like, what'd y'all think?
It was great. We really should think about giving Kib a raise and then give you one too.
She's like, wow, a raise. I didn't even know I was getting paid yet.
It'll come in. Unfortunately, the paper trail that makes us mostly legal still has to go through several channels before it actually bounces us any sort of compensation.
Mm.
If you have something that you require, and I can do so, we can
I
get it
need
for you.
uh I need the footage that I got from the folks that I hired. It should be pretty good footage. I paid 1,000 credits for it.
That
But
is, yeah.
I need that footage edited down and sent out to every publication in the nearby area as possible.
All right. Kib, you're our editor and purveyor of the webs here on the Free Will.
Yes.
Uh, please get that started. Um,
After lunch,
yes.
work on it.
In fact, look, there it is. Aw.
Yeah, and I think
I eat my
Temer-
fill.
yeah, I think probably by this point Temerity is like 3 plates in, and it's just like starting to look like just completely like bulging stomach, and it's just like yeah, and just kind of like downs another drink and kind of just like calls for another one. It's just like we're comped for this meal, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And like kind of like
I'm full
hollers for
too, so
2 more.
I
And then
was about to try and
as
make
that
another bluff check.
continues,
dear
I'm
Lord, I'm
just
stuffed just from her.
I'm like, it's been a real pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
Madame Defoe, I did want to say that if you do need my assistance with anything in the near future, please do not hesitate to reach out.
I know that I can count on you if a situation as that should arise.
Indeed. I just wanted to assure you of that.
And I thank you for taking on such a large responsibility as this casino. I know, especially out here in the middle of nowhere, it can be a little hard to keep your beatings off of the security cam footage. We've updated the places where the cameras don't reach so that you can prevent that in the future.
Excellent, thank you. I'll make sure to get our proper room set up for that.
Mm.
HR
Excellent.
set up for that.
Oh. So, what else do we need to talk about, peoples?
Well, I think there's a
Cousin,
moment.
Go ahead, kid.
Sorry.
my cousin.
Yes. Do we want to just like go there and check? Because otherwise, it'll be 3 weeks to a month and a half before we might get a response from whatever we send.
Well, it's been what 4 months now. You can probably get there
Just
fast.
over 4 months.
We could go in and check on him. Anybody else
Right, but
wants to
we
go?
we, we should wait a couple of days so out of character adjuster has time to prepare for that for next time. But what are we doing now?
Well, I think at this point, like maybe there's like a moment. Zerk kind of walks in, and Zerk at this point he's wearing like a vest with a big fur line on it, fur linings, not wearing a shirt. Um, and you can see a tattoo. He's got the vest buttoned up. It's not wide open, but you can see the edges of a tattoo, like just out of the top of the buttons. Sort of like above the line, the neckline, the sort of V line and
Hmm.
whatnot. And he's wearing like sort of like rougher, um, sort of like more like functional, like rougher leather pants and whatnot. And he's got like a pistol strapped to his hip and a pair of daggers strapped you know to his belt, and he looks like he just came from the field rather than from the office. Jim Allen, and he kind of walks up and he's kind of casual. He's like, "Go, have you seen the latest news reports that have come in? Just came in off of the last ship."
No,
He
we've
goes,
literally been gabbing and having some lunch. How are you? Sit down, have a drink.
Have
well,
to.
he's like, I,
It can be
but
non-alcoholic.
he says, well, I think before we get too comfortable, you may want to watch the general news. And he looks at you, Milliceps. He's like, would you mind switching the channel over? I believe he actually probably hands you like a data slate or a disk, and
That'll save kid a little bit of
he's
work.
like,
I
would
grab the
you,
data
would you,
slate.
yeah, it's like, would you care to plug the data in this into your display screen up there?
So he Alistair takes it and he's like, "Sure, I can do that. I have my eye on you." Oh God! And basically, all three like things flicker, and then but he's still like doing the thing that he's supposed to do, and it goes up, and that's an unusual outburst. That is not a normal outburst.
I think that would probably play more as unusual for Milliceps. Like, I
Yep.
don't think anybody else is used to you enough to notice how unusual that is.
Yeah.
Um, but what comes up on the news is like up on the screen is like a news broadcast. It's like, and in other news, the spate of political seeming assassinations continues to occur, but the investigators have found no connective thread. Petrus Velad of the Verilox Concordians, a mineral magnate, was assassinated last week, and it was assassinated last week when it was found that equipment on the equipment on the premises of one of his locations was rigged, was sabotaged to cause a catastrophic failure. Uh, when the machine collapsed, it killed uh, Petrus Vlad. It was said to have killed Petrus Vlad instantly. And the dwarf general Ofelda Steelgrind was also killed in what is being called a poison assassination. The investigators are still trying to track down where, and he goes, and Zerk kind of looks at you and goes, "Curious, isn't it?" Um, Philip, you and Kib instantly recognize the names as being from that list, from Captain Hurlig's list. That's two more people off that list that have been killed, assassinated. Zerk is like, kind of looks at it and he says, "You know, it would seem to me that whatever the connective tissue is, I would gather that somebody may be trying to cover their tracks. Seems a bit a little odd."
Right. Sounds like the work of an elf woman.
Hey, don't look at
Interesting.
me. I'm an Astrozoan.
No, I said an elf woman, not an elf for now.
And he kind of looks and goes, "Interesting theory. I assume you have a particular elf woman in mind."
Hmm. It's a good thing I trust you. I hope I don't live to regret that.
And he goes, "I am flattered." He
Hmm.
goes,
Well, yes.
"Anyway, I
Yes, I do
figured
think there is a specific elf woman that I would suspect. But it's almost too obvious for it to actually be them now that I think about it.
eh,
We'll have to get into that later. Temerity, remind
Wait,
me we have to have a long talk later. Kib, if you
but
open your mouth right now, I will slaughter you in front of these people and have Temerity clean the scene.
I was just thinking, did one of them run away?
God.
No? Okay.
Okay.
Temerity just kind of like looks at her briefcase, looks at Kib, looks at her briefcase, looks back at Kib.
I think Zerk kind of looks at you and goes, and he's like, "Anyway, since we were discussing the strange political assassinations, and since you seem to be accused of one yourself, figured it may be of interest to you."
Yes, it is. You always
Zerk,
bring me excellent on the spot information. I appreciate
Zerk,
that.
Zerk. Actually, I hear that you are the kind of person who knows people.
"Well, I know people, I know things.
I
What
was
is it you're
wondering,
curious about?"
I was wondering, Do you happen to know anyone who would be a good third-party investigator? Perhaps one who has a certain leniency on evidence?
He kind of looks at you, Philip, and he's like, third party. He goes,
In
he
fact,
goes,
fifth party would be better.
he, for investigation. He goes, well, I believe Philip already knows somebody that might make an excellent investigator for something of this nature. However, it may be tricky to acquire their services.
Hmm.
He looks over at you and goes, you remember that fear that our friend Mr. Maloon brought in, Ambassador Maloon brought in a while back from the Valquin Imperial Court?
Talking about one who cares not.
Lack of stillness. The
That was
fear.
it.
Is like,
Yes,
I
you make a good
understand
point.
I understand he's a fairly decent investigator. He certainly kept a lot of people around here on their toes.
True.
And like Millicept, you and AL remember lack of stillness. He caught you guys kind of off guard to question you.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Uh,
He wasn't shy about admitting that was a strategy either.
my eyes turn rainbow and goes, "Ooh, danger, danger," and then just like,
I'll
sorry.
come over here real quick. Come over here.
What the fuck is going on over there?
I'm gonna make a computer's check. Just gonna tap into Al's head. Mainline it.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna run diagnostics.
Okay. All right. Just running
Excellent.
diagnostics. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So Zerk was kind of shrugged his shoulders. He's like, he's like, if you were to wish to gain the services of Thier, you'd likely have to, or of the Thier lack of stillness, you'd have to, you'd have to speak with the Count with Ambassador Maloon, or well, Count Lessib is back in the Empire now, isn't he? He
Right.
left. He goes,
I. Yeah, Malin's the one that likes us, right? Let me see. What do I
what?
have in my notes?
Yeah, Quindon Maloon does like you.
Oh,
Well,
good. Well, then we'll have to talk to him about it.
yeah. I it's like he goes, and I would certainly like to know more about the rumors of somebody training psychic spies in the frontier.
Well, psychic spies in the frontier could be traced back to either Dwell or the other school. Both of them have the ability to do those things.
Dwell or Bend?
Bend,
Hmm.
that was the other one.
He goes,
And
he
then, of
kind of,
course, that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's at least one more place doing it on purpose.
he's like, he's like, he kind of chuckles and he says, you know, that's what I find so interesting about this frontier. It always feels like somebody knows more than you do. And he kind of smirks at that and chuckles. He goes, and he looks at you, Kib, and he goes, incidentally, he goes, he goes, he goes, incidentally, how's our mutual friend in the, how's our mutual friend in the Verilax Concordance?
Who? What?
Sothki Marins.
Fine, I guess. I don't know. Talked to him in a while. For now, I think he's cool. It's been a while since I talked to him. I don't know.
Uh, yeah, he kind of narrows his eyes for just ever so slightly, and he's like, "Indeed." Um, he says, "Oh, and he kind of turns on the. He turns the news back up, news report back on. And it's like, in other news, tensions between the Verillax Concordance and representatives of the monastery of and the monastery of Dwell continue to deteriorate. There's been no word from the monastery of Bend, although reports say that there are extreme elements that still claim loyalty to the school, although the school has made no public statement. Given that it is, and there's like a and like maybe there's like a report about a bomb, like maybe not necessarily a bombing, but an incident. The Verillax Concordance is calling. It's like the Verillax Concordance is calling it a profane manipulation of the galaxy of the universe's most primal forces. The critics of the Verillax Concordance and allies of the monasteries say that this is, and it kind of drones on. It's like, but apparently there's some sort of incident that extremists that claiming some loyalty to Bend may have executed within the Verillax Concordance, and tensions are rising there. It's like, he goes, there's not much of else of real significance on there as far as news. There's some celebrity things, some celebrity news, some sports news, nothing terribly important. But those are the news items I felt you might find important.
Thank you.
Uh, Keep the keep the news transmission slate. And he goes, I'm afraid I have a bit of business I need to take care of. There's been an increase in pirate activity.
That should probably be looked into as well.
Yeah. And I think he kind of bows and takes it. He goes, he's like, Miss Temerity, Mr. Kibb, Mr. Millipsept,
Millicent is
AL.
just going to look up from what he's doing, nod, and look back at Al.
Yeah. And, and nods once more to you, Philip, and takes his leave.
Kind of looks over at Al and goes, "What was all that about?"
I'm going to next run a virus scan or check for malware in general, Trojans, anything of the sort, um, through the files in Millicent's memory.
Okay.
Not as great, but not the worst.
All right. Is this a thing that the two of you have done before?
Um, sorry.
Like AL, Milliceps, is this something you guys have done before where Milliceps has like gone through like your programming and stuff?
I'll let Joan make that determination.
Like, what does this relationship look like on this?
Which, by the way, you are muted if you're trying to.
I have been talking. I was muted. Uh, so, um, essentially, yeah, it is a regular thing that has happened. Usually with the supervision of Alistair. Alistair, and Milliceps would have been something basically running diagnostics in the background of like day-to-day processes, trying to dig into his memory, try to figure out more about himself and stuff like that. But yeah, And basically, what I would say is those roles would reveal basically that AL's memory is overloaded, causing high temps and leading to glitches. The process that's running, that's taking up most of the memory, is called ally.exe, but the pages that he finds just appear like in the associated files are just like blank.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Nice.
bloating the system with files. So I was going to check for any core processes that are running any hotter or colder based off of previous scans that I've done.
All right. So I'm gonna set a DC here for you. Um, and you guys can make of this what you guys want based on the roll.
Sure.
Uh, so the DC is gonna be 15 plus AL's character level.
Mine's 4 right now, according to this sheet.
Uh, so that'd be 19 at
Yep.
for the time being. So go ahead and give me that roll, and Joan, uh, you can tell Milliceps what he finds out with it.
Sure.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Yep. That's
Yeah,
five
I mean that
above.
beats it.
Yeah, that's beats it by five.
So, uh, so essentially, what you find is, you thought it looked like the normal stuff, like there's an Alistair exe, there's a Alexander exe, and there's a few other like AL names with like exes. This is like the first time you've seen one that there is no like a dot L dot. It's just ally dot exe. So essentially, um, it it's something that probably is like what closer to what we're looking for, but it just as you're going through those files, it looks like they're set to like rewritten basically, and you'd have to find a way to recover the information. But it doesn't look like it's interfering with like the processes other than like overheating the the CPU and stuff like that.
Yeah. So is there any way that I could either pull out the information that's being absorbed into a external storage area, or does it look like the processes are going by too fast for me to catch all of them?
Um, it would probably be too fast. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, see,
Something that it's something that you like. Maybe part of the problem is you'd need far better equipment, and maybe a little bit and maybe more training to figure out how to make that work.
how to expand storage somehow. Or we
You'd
could
have
just
to.
speed up the process by, well, that would require literal brain surgery. But
Yeah, like there's there's so much that you can do and so much you can't, because an android is part biological too, synthetic biology,
Mm,
but so part you know uh construct, part biological. So
yeah, I was just wondering how much of the how much storage is in Al's head versus something like Millicep's desktop in his office that he runs all of his, you know, business from.
right, yeah,
And
it's
would it be enough to wirelessly link
Excuse me.
the brain of Al to filter out, a good 20 or 40% of those files there and share the network with Al's head?
No,
I
no,
would, yeah, I would say like the same thing. Like I agree with Justin. Like essentially, I
no,
would
yeah,
say
Yeah.
he probably tried this already once before,
right.
before leaving to the frontier with better equipment. So,
Yeah, so this is probably something that's going to take a bit more know-how and a bit more advanced equipment than you have access to. Um,
Okay.
it's something that could potentially be possible in the future if you guys want to work out what that looks like and whatnot. But um, I'd say at this point uh, with where you're at the moment, you're probably going to need more
Gotcha.
of stuff to go.
No problem. With that, I'm going to give a soft reboot to Al and basically, see how he react or how they react.
uh, welcome to the A.L. What just happened?
You
Did I
kind of
black
went a
out?
little bit out of your mind, a little early.
You mean more than I have in the
Yeah,
past? Uh,
I couldn't
Yeah.
contact Alice at all.
uh,
The files were replicating too quickly.
mm, mm. Okay. Did did you find anything?
Yeah, there's a change. Now you have 1 second. Does telepathy work with
These
androids?
androids? Yes.
Okay, all right. So Milliceps is going to use telepathy as an into colony to communicate that he has a new file and it's a solid word, and I'm just going to put the word, into his head, ali.exe. Or yeah,
Huh. So, um, that looks the same as Allie's file.
yeah, yeah. I was hoping you could offer some more insight to that, but
Yeah, I don't know, man. Thank you for rebooting me, I guess. Things is in order.
yeah, yeah. You were overheating. It's kind of a thing. You don't need to get too
Okay.
hot under the collar, you know?
So maybe we should refrain from doing the background. I'll slow it down. The background checks.
Yeah, I got to
All right.
get some better equipment. I'm going to get some better equipment.
All right.
So, Kib, Temerity, Philip, you've been sitting here the whole time,
Mhm.
witnessing this. What is your reaction to this?
I think Temerity probably goes, well, it looked like a rough one. You want some Lux to see about it?
Um, I've been to a lot of people. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to get better equipment. And I doubt the frontier has much unless we find like pre like gap technology or even like gap technology, which most of that's
Technically,
just gone.
I
the racist
actually,
humans or who?
I know where some of that might be.
Uh,
Really?
really?
Chesta.
Yeah.
Who are the racist humans again?
The Gurinisaur Empire.
Yeah, the Grand Empire literally still has android factories in use. Not that they're our friends.
In
Um,
fact, in fact, they are known for keeping slaves, SROs, and living holograms as slaves.
yeah, as well as other sentient beings. Um,
True, but
but
predominantly them.
yes. So technically, there might be a chance we could find something there.
That
Hit
or if
and
you
run.
walk deeper into the station and see if any of that lines up. I do need somebody to look at that to see if they would understand. You might. Ooh. Sorry, I'm eating. Never mind.
All of that is fine, kid.
I mean, Kib, like, if there's anything you can do to help, I'm, you know, I'd be in your debt at that point.
The good news is at least we're getting closer, and we know we're getting closer.
Mm.
Yeah. Doesn't get easier, does it?
Nah.
Few things rarely do.
Mm.
Well, I'm sorry to bring this whole meeting to a crashing halt.
No, you're part of our crew. Your health is important. Otherwise, you can't do your job, which is to protect Maleficent.
All right. Well, enough about me. What's on the docket then? What are we
So
what are we doing?
you got me thinking. So deeper within this station, it's older than whatever. There is a combination technology and divine energy and arcane energy deep within this station that I've been digging into, trying to figure out. What if that stuff could help even you, I don't know, create a better processing of data?
I mean, I've never really had my hands on tech like that, so I mean, it'd be something new. I'd have to have a look at it, to be honest.
I didn't bring him with me because I said I was going to take a break and focus on lunch, and now it's coming back up. But I have like
Your lunch is coming
diagrams
back up?
and stuff. No, I was eating it, so I didn't bring food. I didn't.
Oh, yeah, you don't have your tablet.
Yeah, I don't have my tablet with all the information. Uh, so the blackout thing that happened yesterday, technically there was a second power source that came on to turn the lights on.
To restart life support so we didn't run out
Yeah,
of air? Yeah. A
yeah.
safety net of some sort?
So there's more advanced technology. This station is older than any studies of technology I've encountered. So if you were to look at it, maybe you would understand it more than I do, and then we could fully understand it together, maybe.
Well, if it's technology and magic, I wouldn't mind taking a look at them myself.
Yeah, more eyes, better. Because I got people below me that they have no idea what they're looking at. They're like, oh, they're numbers, and they're they're not as trained. To see if we bring somebody that's like, y'all, maybe you can go look. Maybe that's what we'll do. You'll go look
Yeah.
at that. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
let's all
too
go
much
look
on
at
my
that
plate.
together, and then we'll take 20.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have a few moments, Maleficent?
Yes. I do.
Yeah. And I have a few moments. Temerity, you want to come see old stuff, dusty stuff, and cobwebby corners?
Might as well. And she'll do
Yeah.
a key bump real quick.
Ha! Activate your sentinel fusion just in case. Pew!
She's like, why is it so hard to find a Luxtasy buddy out here?
Oh, I don't have that kind of time, dear. But it's fine that you're doing it. Until it's not. Ba-ba-bo.
All
Alright, so we go downstairs. Actually, we take the elevator as low as it'll go, then we go downstairs. Take us to it, kid.
Okay, so we go over to a station and there's everything up. It's like, this part I don't understand. That's why there's all these scribblies. This I understand. This is further down.
So, culture check first, Justa. What do you want us to do?
Well, first of all, let me give you straight up. What Milliceps, what you're seeing there is it from what you're seeing from and AL, from what you're seeing of these designs, it looks like there is a large section of this space station that is just a big chunk of who knows what the fuck is in there, because there's no tunnels, no corridors, no diagrams. Like there's no you're noticing that there is no diagram, no blueprint, no schematics whatsoever for this space station anywhere arranged in this that looks like it came from the original whoever built it. It all looks like it's stuff that's been cobbled together from, knowledge that's been obtained over, Kibb's time repairing the place and maybe a few notes he found here and there. Um, but like you're noticing, the first thing you notice is like there's just a huge chunk of this station that just there's no telling what's there. Like you'd have to dig into to find. The things that he does have, there are power source readings, power signatures you've never seen the like of before. Like there's there's tech, like from what you can tell from Kibb's notes and from what you've seen, it looks like the parts of the station that see use and that seem to have seen use, more frequently, tend to have a cobbled together effect in the fact that like you can identify various places where engineering techniques may and parts may have come from. Like, okay, well, only the only engineers from the Rixar Republic, double back up the N35 converters, you know these sort of relays only come from, you know, from like this, the culture of, only come from, 50 years ago, were standard maybe 50 years ago on Akaton. You know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like, it's patchwork, but there's some stuff that completely defies, it's like, you can't think of any culture or any like engineering like school of thought that would have come up with some of the components that Kibb's got like diagrammed and detailed, like some of the things that he's got showed up here. So your guess would have like the best guess that you guys would have, like all of you put together is like this is technology from a culture that doesn't have a connective tissue with modern engineering for one reason or another.
Detect
Like,
magic.
yes, and there is magic. Um, However, the way the magic is woven again is a way woven in a way that defies traditions of the way the modern traditions of how magic is used. Um, So it's like it lends a lot of credence to the idea that this is pre-gap tech because there's no connective tissue that you can see for any of the school of magical or technological thought processes.
Can we patent this?
Kib, what? Where did you
Well,
find this?
the problem is you're having a hard time even understanding it.
Oh no, she does not understand it in the slightest. That's
Yeah,
why the only way she related to it was with
Yeah.
money. Like
Yeah. Temerity, you don't know what you're looking at. You're like,
no,
what
not
the
even
fuck
close.
is this?
I
No
mean, she
ranks in the
also
business.
heard power. Okay, just to be clear.
No, well,
exactly,
that's true. That's true.
exactly.
That is true.
Look, I don't have nerves, but I just got chills.
Uh, there's quite obviously a read of a power source that Kib hasn't tracked down where it's coming from or where it came from. And now that you think of
So,
it, it does like explain something because the power went out, the backup power went out, and then eventually the power came back on, but then it seemed extra intense for a minute, and then it flickered and resolved to normal, like sort of like intensity. So like this was like you're not sure what that is. You didn't know what that was at first, but you're getting the impression now that this power surge they were talking about, that was what that all was where the power seemed extra intense.
So,
And that's probably it lines up with the readings as
Kib,
far as timestamp.
Kib, has the space station in your entirety of you being here, has it ever gone blackout like this before?
What? Not like it was before. There's been times where the relays weren't hooked up correct for Captain, and we'd have temporary no power for a few minutes, and then I had to connect it, and it worked fine. But not a full blown, total blackout on all backup relays. And no, I don't. No.
So, I don't mean to be off base here. I mean, like we shall be happy that everything turned back on and all that stuff. But what if it's not just a backup? What if something woke up?
Ooh.
Well, there's a switch too. Did like a dead
Take us to the switch.
thing?
You guys will have to go through some pretty tight maintenance tunnels. Not quite, Isekai tunnels, but they're kind of tight.
Oh, I can go
Um,
small size.
I was
yeah.
like,
I
well,
can't.
he can.
I can't.
You can't. You can't. So
I'm a small human, but not able to change size. I'm medium.
yeah,
What I'm
there's
saying is
tight
medium creatures
corridors.
can get there, but you're going to be tight. It'd be a tight fit.
Roomy in here.
Uh, yeah. So you take them to the place where you found the switch.
Yeah. So there's this kill switch thing. Come on, we'll look at it. We go down there, and it's like I tried to follow it, but I went a little too. I went real deep into finding it, and then got sidetracked. There was a lot going on.
So when you guys get down there, you see this switch, and it's like now that you've seen the power readings, whatever is it's attached to seems to have similar power readings, but in order to track down specifically where it goes, you're going to have to actually start taking part of the station apart to make yourself new tunnels to go with it. And you're gonna have to be careful about it too, because you don't want to disrupt, it's one of those deals where you're not entirely certain what this tech is you're working with. So you as engineers and technomancers and mechanics, you're all pretty aware that this is going to be a delicate process and time consuming. You
Well,
can all
we'll
see
have
that it's
time.
yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a thing that you guys are. It's not going to be like a 1 day project. It's going to probably take a while.
Mm.
So,
Oh, to get to the switch, or
well, the switch
To
itself you can
get to
get
the
to,
bottom of the
but
power source.
to figure out what it's actually wired to
ah,
and where it comes from.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we have much on the table, don't we, boys and girls, and everyone else that I didn't remember to ask?
A
Um,
smorgasbord.
yes. The smorgasbord that is us. Have lots to do. But Temerity and I, at the very least, have some diplomacy to do this afternoon. Kib has to go
Wow,
back to engineering,
there
and
really
I don't know
doesn't
what
get
you
to
have
be a
planned.
break, does there?
The break is every time you put stuff in your nose, dear.
She goes, fair enough.
You want vacation time? Talk to Colovian.
Somewhere
Uh,
we get a shot of Colovian somewhere like in ops, and she just kind of she sneezes and looks around, and it looks around and looks around for a minute at somebody, and she's like, "Are you playing video games again? I told you get on that docking manifest."
Yeah.
hmm, yeah.
Not a queue. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys are looking at this switch that is like, yeah, it's from what you can tell from the readings you're able to get, it's the same power signature.
Gotcha. So
So,
Well, yeah, I mean, there, there, there doesn't seem to be anything else for us to look at,
yeah.
in the room, right? So, I
Was
mean,
was there any
yeah.
kind of roll that we needed to make in here or anything?
to understand
Um,
anything more, or...
no, no. This is
Yeah.
like this is basically you guys know where to start digging. And if in terms of like this particular mystery.
Gotcha. Okay, so Millisep's new hobby off
That's
the
a
clock.
fact. Excellent. Everyone needs a
Yeah.
hobby.
Moonlighting.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Don't worry, next week we'll do the all musical version. The all music.
Ooh.
We'll do our musical episode next week.
I'll get a song written up.
Oh boy.
Be great, wouldn't it? We have a musical episode. That's great.
Oh God.
Have you
Do we need?
heard Kib sing?
Hmm.
I no, but I feel like it would be interesting. um. All right. Yeah. So you're going back to. So you guys are. What are you guys gonna like? What do we see you guys doing as you're kind of like dispersing, or heading in the same direction, or running around in circles, or whatever you're doing?
Millisep is literally just picking up objects, looking at them, looking around them, you know,
All right.
trying to
Yeah.
decipher anything of value.
Right. Cool. Um. Philip, you and Temerity were gonna go take care of something.
Well, if Temerity needs a break, she can take a break. But I'm gonna head back to ops and do paperwork because I have to do those sorts of things.
Temerity would actually be interested in that Grimbuckle Syndicate thing you were
Oh
mentioning
yeah.
earlier. If it gives her an in to meet powerful people, she's in it.
Eh.
Wheeling and dealing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Gotta hustle a
That's
little
true. I
bit
did
every
say I could
day.
set that up for you, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, give me about 15 minutes, and I'll call you on comms so that you can meet with them.
Okay. She'll
Yeah.
kind of nod.
So when we split up, once I'm out of the immediate area, I will stop by my chambers, pick up the appropriate things that I need to, and then go to the conference/meeting rooms, pick one, and set it up with the dark corner and the veil. And then I will call Temerity before activating the voice modulator and the veil and be like, yeah, so they'll meet you in meeting room 3.
Oh God damn it! I'm getting the fucking runaround.
All
Yeah, I think Temerity, not knowing any the wiser, is going to show up in that meeting room, dressed to her best.
Grenville would Grenville would probably go with you, Philip, for this.
Well, I would have hollered at him, you're right. So we'll
Yeah,
make
I
sure that
see.
he shows up beforehand. I look at him and I'm like, "You got your bill?"
He's like, he nods. He's like, he nods and he's like, because you need him to like like do the logistics with for the syndicate in terms of whatever she's asking here. So because he's sort of been your little syndicate logistics guy.
Yeah, you know what's going on, and I know that. All right, so let's see. Modulator does 10 plus. Wow. Dun 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 dun. And I switch on the voice modulator just to make sure that I said that twice.
Okay.
All right.
You enter meeting room 3, and the lights have been messed with so that one corner is extra dark, and you see a. Ooh, I can't do that because I have one of those. Before she gets there, I take a potion of sex change as well.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So that'll add another. Um, you see a well dressed individual with a veil over their face sitting in the chair and
Okay.
sipping what appears to be beer of some sort
Hmm.
through a straw.
Yeah.
Well, and there's an individual standing next to him dressed in in a suit. But they are wearing a silk mask over their face.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I'm gonna be like, hi, my name is Temerity. I heard that you all are some decision makers around here.
Welcome to Merity of, oh man, Lichdom Corporation. New lawyer. Game changer, they say. It is nice to finally see the face that has brought me much news.
Hmm. And Temerity will say, it's good to meet whoever's in charge out here.
What is the actual title that I have as the Grimbuckle? Is it like a lord or what?
Boss, just
Just a boss?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just
All right.
boss. He
Remind
like,
me next time to have a small sign over my head that says boss.
I
Yeah.
mean, you
But that's for
like,
next time.
and you can use whatever like name after boss that you want. Like it didn't
Hmm.
matter.
Huh. Don boss. No. But anyway, you can call me the boss for now. Yes,
Okay.
it's pretentious, but
No, I understand. Everybody has their own personal druthers for names. Not all of us, not all of us like to stick with our originals. I get it. And kind of nods and goes, "Listen, I have a favor to ask."
already with favors. Hmm. They did say that you were direct. Continue.
I need a loan. I need some money to set up a corporation. Currently, one of your, well, I'm assuming one of your members, the person who set up this meeting, they're in a little bit of hot water. And, well, I need resources more than just myself. I need legal aids, I need security, I need all sorts of things. I need contacts. But most importantly, I need money to get all those things.
Mhm. Ah, yes. Miss Defoe does have a reputation for getting into mischief. Uh, we owed much to her grandfather. Otherwise, this station would probably still be run by pirates.
Hmm.
But it was an honor to pay that debt.
Full of yourself. Um, yeah, Temerity will just quietly nod and await the judgment.
Uh, henchman right hand.
I think it's like uh I th- the other figure, like, having a modulated voice, like, do you have an estimate? I assume as a person of business, you have some estimates of what you will need.
Kind of will nod and provide a business portfolio, whatever would be needed for like the basic setup.
So you have like maybe a data slide with your business plan or something.
Yeah, for
PowerPoint
sure.
presentation, perhaps.
No, not quite a PowerPoint presentation. It's actually surprisingly modest for everything that she does that is super big and flashy. She's not trying to bullshit these people. She's like, here are the realistic operating costs. Here's what I can handle. Here's what I need.
Mm.
I think I
I'm.
think
Oh, go ahead.
Crinville looks it over, um, hands it to you and gives you like a slight nod, um, which you could probably take to mean, yeah, that the syndicate could probably cover it.
Mm.
But he's still going to defer to you on as far as like the final decision and the final terms on the loan.
Ah, it appears, Miss Temerity, that this time. Wow, I hate it when I forget God's names. Not Bethesda. Wow.
Smera.
Besmira. Yeah, it appears that Besmira's luck is upon you. The accountant has approved. Let us make a blood oath now, and drink from the goblet, and you may go.
Yeah, Temerity will do whatever weird ass ceremony you have cooked up for this.
And yeah, I think like, do you utilize a traditional like tea ceremony from the syndicate, or do you just ad hoc something else?
Well, I basically do what I remember from my initiation ceremony.
Okay.
So, except the tea won't be an actual drug. Sorry, Temerity.
Damn.
We'll just use regular tea. It'll be fancy tea.
I can handle
Yeah.
drugs though. That's this character.
And I understand that, but that's not what I had prepared today.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, you'll take one drop of blood and put it in some tea. You'll drink it,
Mm.
and then uh, you have to get beat out if you want to leave. So welcome to the club. Uh,
No,
go forth. You will receive the credits upon the proper day.
I
Yeah, and
think
Temerity will kind of bow and say, "Thank you. Uh,
I think
I
the other
won't let you down."
I think as you're leaving, the other figure stops you for a moment and hands you like a slate, and it's got like the high interest terms on it, and
Mm.
he's like, the terms are non-negotiable.
She'll nod for a moment, and then she'll sign the data
Serious.
slate and give it back.
Yeah. And he takes the data slate, brings it over to you, and brings it over to you to Philip. Uh, yeah.
I put my thing on it.
So the terms he's set up on the interest are typical mob, like kind of like high interest terms. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're expecting to make a profit off of this,
Oh,
and
for
they're
sure.
serious about it. Like
Yeah.
you can expect to find a couple of beefy individuals at your door if you're late.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. I
Remember,
plan
if you
on
do,
providing to the Grimbuckle Syndicate more than I take.
Hmm. I was going to say, remember, if you do well, there'll be chances for climbing the ladder, so to speak.
right?
Kind of nods again. Very, very reserved, this version of Temerity.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I think as we kind of like, and I think as you're sort of like leaving, we kind of fade out, um, and we'll go ahead and get started with sign-offs. If everybody will send me your Player's Choice Awards,
Just so you
and
know, I
who
already have.
I actually saw that.
Okay.
But everybody else needs to send them to me, and whoever wants to start off first, let's go for it.
Joan, how about you go first tonight?
I can
Nope,
go
maybe
first
not.
tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you were talking and muted.
God damn it.
Oh, you can go. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Joan, also known as Rogue Gray Fox. You saw me playing AL today, who is going through a identity crisis. It's very interesting to see where that's going to go. What crazy hurdles we'll be going through with that. Also, I'm interested to see what lies deep inside the station, since most adventures I've heard are outside the station. It'd be interesting to hear what happens inside the station. But yeah, you can catch me playing Baldur's Gate with Hoster every now and then on stream on YouTube at Rogue Gray Fox. Actually, JJW also. JJW Voice would be the one that you want to look at. Other than that, I think that's all we have going on right now. We are trying to get another group going for, I believe, Tales of Najima or something auxiliary just to get started. But I'll leave that to others to say. All right, that's it for me.
All right, who's next?
I can go next. Hello, everybody. My name is Mira Shade, and today you caught me playing Temerity once again. As you can catch me on every Monday playing Temerity. It is a good time. She is constantly talking out her ass and never has a plan that's more than 5 minutes forward, which is probably how she's going to run this entire campaign, and I'm very excited for it. But other than that, you can catch me on the Adventures of the 722 or whatever it was going to be called. And whenever that happens, and you can also catch me whenever I run my next project, which should be interesting. But that is me.
All right.
Well, I'm
Who's up?
Haster. I was playing Milliceps this evening, and I have started uploading on my YouTube again, doing a Project Zomboid run right now. And you can catch that at DJ Callion, all one word, on YouTube. Tomorrow's episode might be a little late. I've been really having to put in some crunch time, but yeah, hoping next time I play in this, I can uncover more of the mystery that is Al, because I'm
Yay.
very interested in that. But that's all for me.
Psychopathic.
Okay, I'm Scott. Play Kib. Kib's Kib. I don't know. He's just awesome.
Yes.
What else am I in? Oh yeah, Saturdays. Lands of Ivaria. I was a cat. I was a big cat last time, but everybody loves the cat, and it's fun. So y'all should watch that because that's very entertaining. Everybody's cool, and that's all I'm in for now. Yeah.
Meow. Hello, everybody. David the Gnome. Tonight I played Philip Defoe, and she's an 8 foot tall Labrian who has red glowy eyes and no actual hair on top of her head. She's a horrible person, but she tries really, really hard not to die in a tin can in space, and that's what she's here to do. I love this game. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Right now, that's all that we're in. Me, that is. And that means it's time for the one and only Jester King.
Awesome. Well, first, let's get some get some housekeeping out of the way. Player's choice award tonight goes to AL.
Yay!
Give yourself 50 extra XP for tonight. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Just a King Zerat. You can catch me here on Monday nights for Freewheel Station. I'm having a lot of fun just throwing things out there for these guys and seeing what they're interested in doing and seeing what they're, you know, what they're like. Oh God, what can I make them freak out about, and what can I make them just what can I get them to bite on? Um, but other than that, I suppose there seems to be plenty enough the call of wanting some more of Tales the from the 722nd Battalion. So I'll consider what we got. I'm still considering when that might happen. Um, Outside of that, it's all I'm really in at the moment. That may change at some point. I will let y'all know when it does. But with that all said, I believe that's all we've got tonight. So let's bring out the dragon and get out of here.
Bring
Bring
out the
out the
Bring
dragon.
out the
dragon!
Dragon.
Rawr.